Welcome to Saran Things, your favorite pop culture podcast. I am your host, Saran Kaba. How do you guys diddly do? Because I'm unwell. I'm an unwell girl, if you couldn't tell. I do not have it in me right now to do like Miss Peppy Pants radio. I don't have the energy in me to like wine and dine you. I only have the energy to wine and dine myself right now because I am in emotional tumult. Let's just dive in to main character things. My segment where I regale you with stories of my week. We catch up about my life. I am not really great with being vulnerable per se. It's not my strong suit. I'm very much working on it. You can't be successful doing what I do and not be vulnerable to some extent. I talk a lot about the world, the zeitgeist, pop culture, politics. I find that to be very comfortable for me. When it's introspection time, when it's time to talk about what I'm feeling on the inside about myself and my life, oh girl, I am uncomfy, but we're working through it. So first, cheers. Last week, I told you that I'd recently found out that my ex, we were together for 8 years, we were engaged 3 months before the wedding, he calls it off. I am very much of the out of sight, out of mind variety. I'm not like dwelling on things. I'm not looking at anyone's socials. I'm not going through old photos of us. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm not like reading old journal entries. I like shut the door and it has remained fucking locked. I've seen him from time to time because we share a dog, or we shared a dog. I love Henry so much, Henry, my Yorkshire Terrier. I don't feel very comfortable leaving him with a lot of people. So if this man, who seems to love this dog as much as I do, wants to take him when I'm out of town, great. That being said, I'm not seeing him all the time. Therefore, I'm not thinking about him all the time, and I'm not looking at his socials, and I'm not reminiscing very much. But rewind. He told me about a month ago that he was in a new relationship. And like I said, initially it kind of knocked the wind out of me. But then after a while, literally a couple hours later, I was like, okay, no, this actually does make a lot of sense. Like, live and let live, c'est la vie. It's been 2 years. We're moving on. And I felt really good in that. And in fact, it detached me from the situation even more, right? I said something like, it's weird to be thinking about someone else's man. And I fully stand by that statement. Last night, I have no idea what happened to my Instagram, but I was logged out of my Saran Things Instagram. So I had another social media, another Instagram at the time when we were together. And I don't go on it very much. I don't go on it ever. I would love to just delete the account, but unfortunately, I don't remember the password associated with it, so I could deactivate it. That's the part where I get fucked up every single time. Unfortunately, it's just not working out for me. So something weird happened yesterday where I was logged out of my Saran Things account, my only Instagram that I use, the one that you guys are familiar with. And I didn't really notice initially. And I was scrolling and I'm hit with this picture of him with his new girlfriend. And I literally wanted to throw up. It was them on a mountaintop and he was like kissing her and dipping her. I don't know. I didn't look at it for very long. My eyes laid on this picture for maybe 0.05 seconds. It wasn't a whole second before I scrolled away. I think I might have fucking thrown my phone. I don't remember. But I do remember the picture. I didn't see her face. I didn't see any like identifying features. I wouldn't be able to pick her out from a lineup. I just know she has long brunette hair. But yeah, damage was done. Like, I felt sick to my stomach. And then I felt so stupid for feeling sick to my stomach because it's been 2 years. And I know I shouldn't. I don't know if that's a normal feeling to have at this stage in the game, but it was real. And my instinct would be to just kind of like block it off, compartmentalize it, and just like keep chugging along. And I don't know how well that's worked for me, given we are here having this conversation right now. So I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to try to honestly talk about my feelings that seeing that image brought up. Just keep randomly throughout the day, that image just flashes through my brain, and I have that sick feeling in the pit of my stomach again. And it's awful. I didn't cry. Like, I haven't cried about that man in years, nor will I. I just think it's inadequacy that I feel, and it has nothing to do with her, but just the idea that, oh, this woman represents something that I didn't have, or some way that I wasn't enough for him. And I think that I've spent so much time trying to be reasonable about everything, okay? I'm nothing if not a rational queen, but some things are just irrational. And how I feel right now, I don't know whether it's rational or not, but I know that it's real. And like, I'm so uncomfortable with this feeling because it's been 2 years and I know I should feel past it. But I've only, ever loved 2 men in my life. And I think it took me a while to be okay with seeing my first love with other people. Obviously now, it's been a very long time and that's fine. It feels like nothing. He's married and has kids and all of that. And I'm like thrilled for him and beautiful family. I just don't know if I'll ever get to that place with my most recent ex because truly no one has ever broken my heart as thoroughly as this man. And I don't talk about that aspect a lot because, again, I try and be reasonable about it because at the end of the day, it's not like he cheated on me or he was not like mentally, physically, any type of abusive. He was good to me the majority of the time that we were together. Like, he is also a rational, decent human. And yet he still ripped my heart out. And I don't know, seeing him with another woman like that, it just reopened this feeling of inadequacy. It's always been a worry of mine that if like people get to know me well enough, like they'll hate me. I think that I come off well in like small doses. I've talked to my therapist about this. I know this is not necessarily true, but it is a fear of mine. And so I don't know, to be rejected so harshly after allowing someone to know you so intimately for so long, especially when you didn't expect it, it does a number on you. It does a number on you. And I think that maybe I'm kind of mad too in that like, am I the only one walking around with this like emotional baggage right now? I think that's the part that makes me, if there's anything that makes me angry, that's it. Am I the only one walking around with the weight of what was lost or what maybe it wasn't, maybe what it wasn't even what I thought it was. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if any of this makes sense, but I've just had quite a day. I hate that I saw that. I was doing such a good job of not seeing these things, and that made it so much easier. But there's just something about seeing that picture that made me really fucking upset. And I think maybe like the power in being able to admit that. Maybe that's the only way I'm going to actually like get through this. Because obviously, like this sadness that I feel in this like pit in my stomach, clearly I'm not as over it as one should be 2 years in. But like I am not an easy nut to crack, one could say. And I don't know, when you're hurt that deeply and that like to your core, it's going to take a lot for me to be able to open up to someone in a way that like is meaningful. I cannot afford to have my heart broken like that again. I fucking refuse. Like I can't do it. Maybe this is probably why I haven't really enjoyed dating. And then maybe this is also why I'm so annoyed because this heartbreak is clearly impacting my ability to invest emotionally in men and date seriously and like kind of like open up my heart to something serious or even lighthearted at this point. And it's like, you are the one who broke me emotionally and you have moved on. It has taken you 2 years. I believe this is a new relationship, so it's not like he was with someone a week after we split. And yet it makes me feel like alone. Before this, I felt like we were kind of comrades in trying to navigate life without one another. And he was clearly very emotional about it. Probably when I saw him more emotional than I was. Certainly, it seems like he shed more tears in the past 2 years about the loss of our relationship than I have. But we're also two different people. We cope with things differently. We move at different paces. He's also like 8 years older than me. This man is, I don't know, 43. he does have to get a move on, right? Like, he wants kids and a family. So hopefully I think I believe this when I say, I hope that this one is the one, because he does deserve all the good things. He does deserve everything that he wants in life. I just don't want to see it. I just would prefer not to see it. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now emotionally. Life's fine, I guess. I don't know. It's like actually wild how much this shit threw me for a loop, guys. All right, enough with the vulnerability, enough with my emotions. Let's get to the meat of the show. Okay, let's talk pop culture and our things that pop segment. We must begin with Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. The case that never ever ends. It goes on and on and on. Although we are very close to it ending. I believe that they're going to court in May. So we're a month off. This past week, Judge Lyman tossed out 10 of 13 claims that Lively had launched against Justin Baldoni. And her supporters will tell you it was just a technicality because she filed under Title VII, which was like anti-discrimination and sexual harassment for employees. Turns out she was not an employee. Okay. That is not a technicality, though, because via her own words, the PGA letter that was written, where she cites all of the control that she has had on this set, she couldn't be an employee. She was calling these shots per her own words. And Title VII does not protect independent contractors. That is absolutely not a technicality. And this is not just from me. These are the takes of credible lawyers. And also, of the 10 claims, that includes the sexual harassment. So Justin Baldoni is no longer like individually liable in this lawsuit. It is now Wayfarer, because the claims that survived have to do with like retaliation. And I've always said since day one that the sexual harassment was all that I cared about, okay? Because in absence of that, her behavior on that set, per like the information that we all have at our disposal, per everything on the docket that the public is able to see, her behavior on that set was abhorrent, okay? She was a terrorist. And that's not just me. That's also Stanford Panitch, the president of Sony. He sent a text message to the other executives calling her a terrorist. She was awful. If I was Justin Baldoni and I had to deal with that, in addition to that 17-point list that she, in my opinion, extorted him to sign off on for fear of her no longer filming after they'd already invested so much in the film, he would be a fucking idiot to not prepare himself for the worst. She was insane on the set. She was not behaving in good faith. After the film had premiered, he was in the basement, remember, posing with the water bottles with his fucking family, sick and twisted. After that, the internet started whispering about like, what the fuck is going on with the cast of It Ends With Us? Why is nobody doing any press with Justin Baldoni? Shit is weird. I mentioned before on my TikTok that I first heard this on The Toast. Okay. It was Claudia Oshry who was just like, guys, I think something fucking weird is happening. And my God, was she correct? I really think that Claudia was the one that broke this shit. After shit started hitting the fan, based on her own behavior, guys, based on how she decided to market the film, how consumer-focused the marketing of the film via her was, left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. The way that she spoke about it, like, wear your florals, bring your girlfriends. Justin Baldoni didn't tell people to find that distasteful. I think people found that distasteful organically. Once that started happening, she and her husband demanded that Justin Baldoni release a statement where he basically says, I'm a fucking creep and Blake Lively's great and I'm sorry. Tail between his legs, and then disappears for the foreseeable future. When he saw that that's what they wanted him to do, And he said no, if he did not immediately start building a team of people who could support him and planning for the worst case scenario, which very clearly happened, he would be a dumb fucking ass. All of this is null and void if he was some kind of sexual predator who was harassing her on the set. You're a creep. She is absolutely correct to come at you with everything that she's got. Fuck you, Justin Baldoni. That would be my take if he had sexually harassed her. But there has been zero evidence of that. And this is another thing that the pro-Lively people will say. The judge didn't comment on the merits of the sexual harassment claims. He just tossed them out because she was a independent contractor and she wasn't an employee. Okay, so Title VII didn't apply. No. He did a dual track, okay? He basically said in his 152-page summary judgment, he said, if Title VII did stand, if she was viewed as an employee, then X, Y, and Z. He gave his take on the merits of her claim as if Title VII did apply. It seems like he was trying to, cross his T's and dot his I's and make sure that there wasn't anything left for the imagination. The Title VII contractual shit seemed like an easy off-ramp. But he did make it clear that many of the things that she was citing as harassment were essentially absurd. He saw much of the things that she was citing as sexual harassment similarly to what all of us did. And over the past 2 years of this bullshit, the Lively supporters are always like, well, you haven't seen all the evidence, so you can't decide whether she was sexually harassed or not. Well, the judge did. He had everything at his disposal, and he came to the same conclusion. Okay? He didn't have to rule on it based on the merits of the claims because he had the Title VII off-ramp, but he did explain how he was viewing things if Title VII did apply to her, if that makes sense. These pro-Lively people freak me the fuck out. They freak me out. I don't understand them. I have never seen someone who supports her ever admit that anything was ever wrong. They have not conceded one single point, 1 inch. Me, in the past couple years, discussing this whole debacle, this shit show of a film, there are several points where I've been like, nope, this is wrong. Or I've noticed there are people who support Baldoni who I otherwise think are credible, or some that I'm outright you're not credible. Your line of reasoning for supporting him or disliking her makes no sense to me. I've corrected myself many times. I've called out other Baldoni people for bullshit that I've heard them spewing. Never once have I seen a pro-Lively creator ever acknowledge anything that Blake Lively could have ever potentially ever done wrong. And that's a glaring fucking red flag for sure. They're not living in reality. It's disturbing. I saw one say, what was that? You can't be liberal. You can't be a Democrat and not be pro-Lively or be pro-Baldoni. I can't be liberal, left-wing, and support Justin Baldoni. If I profess that I'm liberal, I must support Blake Lively. Are you fucking crazy? That's bad shit. The logic is actually I can't even say it's flawed. It's just not there. Someone said, I can't recall, that people are just supporting Justin Baldoni because they think he's attractive. He's hot, sure. She's beautiful, yes. What does it have anything to do with anything at all? The merits of what she's saying make absolutely no sense. And that scene, the dancing scene in her first complaint before they amended it, she said so many weird things happened in that scene where they're dancing and they're doing the montage. She had no idea that there was audio captured for this scene because there wasn't going to be audio in the final cut because it's just supposed to be a montage with music in the background where they're dancing and falling in love and canoodling. How she cited it isn't how it happened. In her updated complaint, her amended complaint, she fixed it. Although what she fixed still didn't really align with what we saw. And I think that was the first time that most people were like, is Blake lying to us? Because that shit is crazy. I will remind you guys, When the New York Times article came out, I was like, oh, okay, he's a creep. I believed her immediately because, like I said so many times, women rarely lie about this type of shit. It's your best bet to believe them. Believe women generally flies, but not in the face of reason, reality, evidence, or lack thereof. She's the one putting the claim forward. She's the one that has the burden of proof. She's not proved it. I've said this from the beginning. None of this makes fucking sense. She could not handle or accept the fact that people organically disliked her based on her own actions. Starts with if she had just let him come to the premiere. Again, Stanford Banich, the president of Sony, my fave. I love that man. In all the legal documents that I've read and all the messages from like the studio people and just everyone, he has seemed the most cut and dry, straight to the point. He's a badass. He's not dealing with her bullshit. His priority is the film and getting it across the finish line. And everything else is just nonsense to him. And he has no reason or no wanting to stroke her ego. He doesn't fucking care about her feelings, really, insofar as they don't interfere with the success of the film. Mr. Panich said several times, the movie was a hit. You could have just let it go. Let it go. Because if you recall, by the time the New York Times article came out, which I also think was another fatal flaw in this whole debacle, people had already started to forget. No one really cared anymore about all the hullabaloo that happened around the release of the film and the premiere. It was a success. The chatter about Blake being an asshole had died down quite a bit, and yet she just couldn't fucking let it go. Harkening back to what I just said about the New York Times article being a fatal flaw, if she had just filed the CRD complaint, not done the New York Times article, I think we'd be having a very fucking different conversation right now. Blake Lively and her team are operating in a very archaic manner. They have not stepped into the 22nd century in regards to PR and social media and the internet. And they so aggressively underestimate the public. She's playing to her base, is essentially what this PR professional said. I am a PR comms person, marketing and whatnot when it comes to politicians. That's what I've done for a living for a very long time. It's different when it comes to Hollywood. Not wildly different, but different enough. But I will say, when we're talking about politicians and getting them elected and who we're targeting and talking to, we're trying to find our persuadable audience when we're talking about electoral politics and advertising. So that's not the people who are hard Democrats that we know we have their vote, period, full stop, blue no matter who. Who we want to talk to are the folks in the middle, the ones that go back and forth, those Obama-Trump voters, or the ones that find themselves independent, etc. If we are not able to appeal to them, we are not going to win this election. We are not going to be able to move the needle in the direction that it needs to move. Blake Lively is only appealing to this base of hysterical women. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Call me a misogynist. I don't care. You've already called me a Republican. What you call me doesn't even matter anymore. If your barometer for who is a Republican and who is a Democrat is whether or not they support Blake Lively, your opinion doesn't matter because you're an idiot. Oh my God. And the whole, you've been had by a smear campaign and you don't even know it. This underestimating the intellect of the public. I'm not even just talking about myself. If we're talking about, no, there is not a single Blake Lively supporter that I think is smarter than me. And can we talk about ex-patriarch? This fucking tool. He blocked me ages ago. His posturing, he speaks like a do-do-do. And he's British, so it's like boo-do-do. And the lively Mr. Baldoni and a technicality. It's this very seemingly hopefully academic type speak, very formal. One would think it would add credibility. And it doesn't. He is a grifter. You mocked me. I'm a woman. And also, I'm a woman whose career has been spent getting Democrats, women, people who are pro women's rights, bodily autonomy. Because I disagree with you on Blake Lively, you've blocked me? Sir, what have you done? What meaningful good have you accomplished in your life? Like, how are you, other than calling yourself the ex-patriarch and blindly, not even blindly, supporting Blake Lively, thoughtfully, willfully grifting because he knows that there is a hysterical, and I use that word because I understand the chord it strikes. It doesn't change that it's fucking legitimate. Sometimes it's accurate. Sometimes the word that offends you the most is offensive because it's accurate. And these bitches are hysterical. Ugh, I called them bitches. I call everyone bitch. I look in the mirror sometimes and I call myself bitch, okay? Is there anything else I have to say about this shit? 10 out of 13 claims were tossed out, not based on a technicality. She doesn't qualify for Title VII because she is an independent contractor and not an employee. That is not a technicality. And she was classified as an independent contractor because all of the power that she had on that set. And how do we know how much power she had on that set? Because she wrote it down herself. Not only did she write it down, she asked so many people to rally for her, to vouch for her, to say, you know what, she did this, this, and this, and this. She had power over this, 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 and this. She handled all of this. She was keeping this whole shit afloat. This was all Blake, this whole film. She got the final cut, her final cut of the film released, even though Baldoni's tested higher. She accused the studio and I don't know, whoever Greenberg works for, of setting it up. She accused the studio of setting the test up because that's the only way she could fathom that Baldoni's cut tested higher. Does that seem like the rationale of a woman that you want to trust? A woman that cannot fathom being in the wrong? It reflects the women and man who support her. It's irrational. The spin is crazy. There's no credibility there. After the dance montage scene came out, like the raw footage with like the actual sound, you could hear what they were saying, and you saw what she was lying about via her first complaint. If you backed her after that, I can't trust your fucking judgment. There is something else going on there that has very little to do with the facts that are presented to us. At the end of the day, court of public opinion, she's lost. What would have saved her is the sexual harassment claims going to trial and her potentially, winning over a jury. A win. Like, that was the only thing that would save her. That's not even a possibility now. What we do know is how she behaved on that set. And retaliation, I don't know. From what I see, like, if the information is what we have in front of us right now, if that's all we have in terms of how Justin Baldoni retaliated, fine, whatever. I don't care. Not everything is going to be nice and, pleasant. As long as he didn't sexually harass anyone, he wasn't her boss. She was a psychopath on set. He wanted to be an asshole to her. I would have as well. That's it. I would have as well. If you saw that 17-point list that heavily implied that you did all of this creepy shit that you know that you didn't do, that you were forced to sign, in my opinion, extorted to sign in order to actually finish this movie that had already been so heavily invested in, I would be livid. I would be very, very upset. Mind you, what could he be retaliating against if the sexual harassment claims were tossed out? Well, that's for a jury to decide, okay? And I have a sneaking suspicion that a jury will say, nah, homie, probably not. I do not see her winning. And even if she does, okay, that's not going to make me think that Justin Baldoni is evil. Certainly not. She's already lost. What she cares about is her public perception, and that has been tarnished in such an extreme way. Again, we're going back to Stanford Panitch, president of Sony. He said she's done so. In the words of Kristen, not Stewart, Cavalieri, she's done so. She didn't expect him to fight this to the death and actually push and push and push. All of this information that's out there is not ideal for her. She has done nothing but ruin her reputation. These sexual harassment claims, had they had merit, that's one thing. But she presented to us what she considers sexual harassment. And the judge, and there is case law that backs it, is very clear that like there has to be some amount of improvisation within an agreed upon like script. This is specific context. Had any of this happened on a factory floor or an executive suite, I believe that's exactly what Lyman said, that would be one thing. But you guys were acting in a scene. And not only that, not only was he an actor, he was a director, and we can see with our two eyes, our ojos, that he's in those scenes. He says cut, he's done. Face changes, everything drops. He's in director mode. You know what? I didn't like Jenny Slate. He was like, "Oh, those pants are those leather pants are sexy." You're right. Questionable. I don't like that, Justin. That's where it stops and ends, though. For me, para mí, and Isabella Ferrer. Fuck you. Fuck you. Because the way she turned on that motherfucker after she sent him that text message when they were done filming, and she said, "You've made me feel so comfortable on set. Thank you so much. Best experience ever, blah, blah, blah." Blake got to her. Suddenly, she's citing the fact that he told her while he was directing a scene with her and young Atlas, he told her to take a lick of a spoon with cookie dough on it and look up at young Atlas. And she was like, that's perverted. You look at the book that this film was based off of, that's literally what Colleen Hoover wrote. That made you uncomfortable? I'm sorry, did you not read the book either? At the root of this is a problem because there are real fucking perverts and psychopaths in Hollywood that are seeking to take advantage of women on set. To all the people who were like, you know what, it's very dangerous that the judge said that improvisation in these scenes has to be okay within the reasonable confines of a script, agreed upon script. That's a little dangerous for women because like men could be like, weird. Yeah, duh. Of course. And that is a conversation to be had. And perhaps it is one to be litigated, but not here. And also, why don't they ever acknowledge her behavior when filming a Simple Favor 2, where she grabs that man by the crotch, improvises, and not improvises and like they agreed upon it before, it wasn't in the script, they had a conversation about it, they did it. No. She just did it, and she says it plainly in the director's cut where she's explaining what happens. And mind you, the actor whose crotch she grabbed, green as fuck. This was one of his first films, I'm pretty sure. What was he supposed to do when Blake Lively decides to grab his penis for no reason? I don't know. They have nothing to say to that. Oh, because she's a woman and he's a man? Do you understand big picture? That doesn't help. That's not doing what you think you're doing. It's giving Kendra. And that's all I'm gonna say. On to Bravo. Okay, Bravo, fucking Bravo. We must start with Westgate / Scamanda catch-up. The last episode of Summer House happened this week. Again, it is very weird watching it with the knowledge that I have in my brain now. I just roll my eyes every time I see either West or Amanda on the screen, let alone every time I see them interacting with Ciara. I just want to scream like, get away from her. Get away from my princess. The thing that stood out for me this past episode was Amanda telling Sabrina everyone thinks that Ben is in love with me. Ben, Australian fella, brings Sabrina, his new girl, and everyone, aka Jesse, are like, oh, so Sabrina and Ben have been together the entire time. Ben was just lying about being single to get on the show. And I'm like, is that a prerequisite for being on Summer House? Because Mia's on this bitch and she very clearly has a boyfriend that she's very honest about. I have no reason not to believe that what Ben is saying is true and that he was in a situationship. She said, I love you. He felt unprepared. He fucked it up and now he's trying to rekindle things. Like, okay. Sabrina, delightful. Not only beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, perfection. She just seems like a delight, honestly. She's a lot. Like when she approached Amanda first and she was like, you deserve the world. If you're not in love with Kyle, if Kyle in this relationship isn't serving you, I just want you to be happy. I'm going to be very honest. If I was Amanda and a stranger approached me in such a manner about such an intimate thing in my life, I might not be the most receptive about it. But I would not do the pick me ass thing that Amanda did, which was say, everyone thinks that your boyfriend is in love with me. Amanda, what the fuck? Like, what? In what context does that even come up? How would you feel comfortable saying that? Like, I must know. It's very strange, that choice that she made there. Regardless, Sabrina seems lovely. And that brings me to my next point. The other bit of chatter that's been going on the interwebs about this season is, oh, Brad seems like a, why do I keep calling this motherfucker Brad? Ben. Ben seems a little aggressive when it comes to the women. Like, he's always having conflict with women. That's a big problem. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You have to literally look at the context of the situation. Bailey said that Ben wants to fuck Kyle's wife in front of Kyle. So he very respectfully said, hey, Bailey, may we have a conversation instead of like picking a fight and screaming at her in front of everyone. He pulled her aside and had an honest, tense, uncomfortable, direct conversation with her about it. He didn't yell. He didn't make anything up. He was just very clear about his feelings, which made sense. With Amanda, same exact deal. She said something fucking weird in front of the girl who is his girlfriend or who he wants to be his girlfriend, and he didn't yell at Amanda. He was just like, I didn't like that, and can you please explain it to me? He didn't pull it out of left field. He's not trying to make drama to have like some kind of storyline. He felt something, and he addressed it in the most mature way possible. And yeah, it's conflict, but that's being an adult. You don't just avoid it because it happens to be someone of the other sex, because it could be perceived as you being like this aggro dude. That's clearly not Ben Brad. Ben Brad, he seems delightful, to be honest. Just honestly, what I find the strangest about him is how dare you almost let Sabrina slip through your little Australian fingers. She's lovely. I actually very much hope that she is a cast member next summer. She seems like she would be like a lovely fit. And speaking of, the way that Lindsay hath grown on me, it's incredible. If you had told 2023 Saran that she would feel this passionately about how lovely, hilarious, delightful that Lindsay is, I wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't believe you. There is something about her post Carl, actually also post baby. She's not clouded by the bullshit anymore. She gets to the point and not in like a shticky gimmicky way. She's just like trying to live her best life. She is, she sticks up for what is right. She just wants to be a good mom. She's just delightful. And this is not just me because I love Paige so fucking much. Perhaps Paige saw the change in her as someone who actually knows her in real life and not just like a fucking onlooker like me, that signaled to me, you know what? Maybe she is okay. And that opened me up. And then now I love watching her and I cannot wait to see her on this reunion. They do the reunion on April 24th, I believe. Per Lindsay. Well, not per Lindsay, actually. I think per Jesse Solomon. Lindsay and had like a bit of a conniption on Dumas' page under a post where someone like put in a blind item that she was at Zero Bond talking shit about the reunion. Dumas said that they were shooting on the 19th. She said that's not happening. Jesse somewhere confirmed it was happening on the 24th. That doesn't matter. Frankly, I don't know why I even talked about it. But TLDR, love that bitch. Love her. Cannot wait for her feisty ass to lay into West and Amanda, maybe? I don't know, but I think mostly West. Like KJ. It's KJ. It's not CJ. It's not EJ. It's not LJ. It's KJ. He was brought into the show by West, right? And in that first episode, he was so honest about like his anxiety and he was feeling a little shy and standoffish. And he was like, West, can you check up on me? And I found it so charming how like West was actually checking up on him. And it was lovely. This was, whilst West was winning us back over, he was doing such a lovely job before he like fucked it up. He has unfollowed Amanda, which makes sense because West was your boy first. Like, I understand why it's harder for him to, break that bond. And I actually do not blame him for not. Like, you knew him first. He was your friend first. So just because your friend fucks up and does something shitty in this context doesn't mean you abandon them. Does that make sense? Who amongst us hasn't fucked up or done things that are morally questionable at times, especially like in your younger years? I completely understand. Oh my God, is it KJ now? Like now I've fucked myself up. Is it KJ? Is it CJ? It's EJ. It's KJ. KJ. It's KJ. I get him standing beside West. But I also understand him unfollowing Amanda because Amanda's loyalty was supposed to be to Ciara. She fucked that up. Ciara's like his sister. And like that all makes sense to me. There is mixed messaging going on because for some reason TMZ keeps telling us that they have these exclusives from inside sources that's like, oh no, they're a happy couple. They're not sweating it. They're strong as ever. And then we have Kyle, Mr. Blondie Pants Magoo, out here on the street saying, hey, Amanda's struggling. She's having some real dark thoughts. Lay off the cyberbullying. Which is it? Someone explained to me, which is it? Are they chilling? Are they in their little love bubble having like a good time? Is he not actually on Raya? He is. Did he not actually have a girlfriend named Miha? I think he did. Is Amanda just happy to be with her faux swagified Wegro weirdo? I don't think so. I really do not think these fuckers are together. Perhaps whoever is doing their PR or like whatever team they have are explaining to them the best course of action might be to just do a unified front when you get to the reunion and say it's love. I'm going to have a very hard time believing that it's real because I don't think that West is capable of it. I just don't. I don't. And I stalked Miha's page. If you weren't aware, Miha is this beautiful artist who lives in New York City, who apparently West was in an exclusive relationship with up until she read that joint statement, that trifling ass joint statement. And I would be more receptive to that just being fodder and bullshit if upon looking at her profile, her responses to comments wasn't very clear that she is annoyed. She is unhappy with West. So I don't know what they're going to say at the reunion. I just don't think I'm going to buy much of anything that's coming out of their mouths. They are liars. Liars. They're liars with a capital liar. Listen, sometime in my late 20s, I realized not only did I accept that I was bad at lying, I realized it's so much easier to just tell the motherfucking truth. It's confusing to me because you're an adult. Who do you gotta prove anything to, or what would you have to lie about? Every time I lied, it was born from a place of I have to make sure my parents don't know what I'm doing because they were very strict and whatever. I was just trying to hide from them my entire adolescence. And so I think I brought that into my early 20s. And then at some point I was like, wait, I'm the boss of me. And then you just have to trust that you're decent and you're able to make good decisions. And even if you make bad decisions, you're able to recover from them because you're human and no one is going to be perfect. And if you're kind of a decent person, even the mistakes you make are palatable generally. I'm not doing anything crazy. So it's just so much easier. That's why at their big ass age in their 30s, them lying like this is so fucking crazy to me. If you feel the need to lie this aggressively, you're doing something very wrong and you know it. So, anywho, that is our summer house chit chat for the week. Is there anything I'm missing? Kyle's living his best life. Lindsay's pissed. Amanda's kind of a pick-me about Sabrina. Yeah, nope, that's it. Okay, I also did watch The Valley. I don't know why Lala's on this show. She makes me twitch. I gave her 2 episodes. I do not believe she's adding anything. At least Schwartz is doing his whole, maybe Michelle and I, will they, won't they? That's adding a little something, something. Also, they did have chemistry on that date. I don't know if I see them long term, but like that was fun to watch. Lala, she's truly lost me forever. Like I don't know if there's much that she can do for me to ever not look at her with this look on my face. Like I'm smelling something strange. Like it's fresh mulch being put down. That's what hits my face every time I see Lala on the screen. Like, ugh, why? Why? Anyways, she's there. And then we have Kristen and Kiki and Luke. They are not fucking. And guess what? I've never had a child. She said that she's 3 months postpartum. And I believe it's 6 weeks until the doctor clears you to do the do. I haven't had children. I'm no one's mother. So if she doesn't feel like fucking, I mean, it is what it is, Strang. It's only been 3 months. And she literally just gave birth to your child. I think if he's a little more chill about it, she might be more likely to want to have sex with him. But she's clearly going through something emotional, mental, like there's something happening. So just being like, it's time to fuck now. It's been enough time. That's not going to work. Clearly, there has to be something else that is done. I don't know what it is. Like I said, not a mom, but she just had your child. So chill the fuck out. It's only been 3 months. What is 3 months in comparison to a lifetime? The more you stress it, the less likely you are to get it, is what I assume. Okay, so chill the fuck out, Luke. You've already outkicked your coverage here. So chill the fuck out. Brittany. Brittany and her new man. I don't understand Brittany, this new guy of hers. First of all, Zach is my favorite. I trust his judgment when it comes to what he's saying about Brittany and this new man being trifling. Isn't stability sexy? Especially in her circumstance at the moment. Wouldn't a man who has troubled relationships with his 2 or 3 baby mamas be like the least attractive person in the world to you? Like, I don't get it. God bless her, I guess. I don't know. Good luck to her. She seems like a fabulous mother, still a bit of a dumbass. I think it's crazy that she married Jackson in the first place after everything. I did watch the Lamar Odom documentary. Fuck that guy. I made a TikTok about this. Horrified. I just thought he was a troubled crackhead. I didn't think he was a shitty human being to his core. He proudly proclaimed that he got with Chloe because he liked her lifestyle. And watching interviews that he's done afterward, he doesn't think that Chloe saved his life. And he doesn't believe what she said about his dad wanting to pull the plug on him when he was in a coma because his dad, the crackhead senior, would have gotten the insurance money. Does he forget that we watched him talk about his dad and their relationship on Chloe and Lamar, or Lamar and Chloe? That motherfucker dipped out on him. He only came back to ask for money. You trust his take over Coco? I don't know what's wrong with Lamar, but he's an indecent fuck. He seems to resent her in a way that goes beyond understanding. He wasn't able to coherently explain it in the documentary. It seems to stem from something nonsensical. I know what Chloe's going to say. I have a clear conscience. I did the right thing, because she's a good, decent fucking person, okay? Say what you want about every other one of the Kardashians. Chloe, she's a good one. She's good, she's decent. She's a better person than I fucking am, because she should have let that old man get his fucking insurance money. And that's what I'll end on today. Thank you so much for tuning into Surround Things this week. This has been a fun, emotional roller coaster ride. Hopefully next week is a bit less emotional. You guys are my favorites. Toodaloo.